Hello. You guys like Anansi stories, right? Yeah? Aha, of course you do. Anansi's the best. So funny, always getting into trouble. Um, but you know something about Anansi? Anansi sometimes uses his tricks for good. Yeah, and I think that's what I love about this story is it's a little different. He's not just doing something to get in trouble. He uses his ability to trick other people and creatures for a good cause. So this is called a story, and you know that Anansi stories come from what continent? Yes, they come from the continent of Africa, and they come from, I believe, they come from the western part of Africa. And here we go. A story, uh, retold by Gail E. Haley. And looks like Gail also did the illustrations as well. And it goes. Once, so small children round my knee, there were no stories on earth to hear. All stories belonged to Naomi, the sky god. Kept them in a golden box next to his royal stool. Now, Anansi, the Spider Man, wanted to buy Spy God's stories, so he spun a web up to the sky. Isn't it cool how in different stories, sometimes Anansi is like a real spider and sometimes he's a man? It's really cool how he switches up depending on the story. So, when Sky God heard what Anansi wanted, he laughed. You want my stories? The price of my stories is very high. First, you must bring me Osebo, the leopard of the terrible teeth. Then, you must bring me Mboro, the hornet that stings like fire. And then, oh, Umtia, Umtia, the fairy who no one can see. Invisible fairy? What? How you going to catch an invisible fairy? I don't understand how that's. But if Anansi could do anything. Anansi bowed and answered, I shall gladly pay the price. Chuckled the sky god. How can a weak old man like you, so small, so small, so small, pay my price? But Anansi merely climbed down to earth to find the things that the sky god demanded. Anansi ran along the jungle path, till he came to Osebo, the leopard of the terrible teeth. Aha, Anansi, said the leopard. You're just in time to be my lunch. Anansi replied, Oh, as for that, what may happen will happen. But first, you like games? Let us play a game, the binding game. Now the leopard, who was fond of games, asked, how's it played? With vine creepers, explained Anansi. I will bind you by your foot, and then I will untie you, and then you can tie me up. Very well, growled the leopard, who planned to eat Anansi as soon as it was his turn to bind him. So Anansi tied the leopard by his foot, by his foot, by his foot, by his foot with the vine creeper. And then he said, "Ah, now, old Sable, you are ready to meet the sky god." And he hung the tied leopard in a tree in the jungle. Next, Anansi cut a frond from a banana tree and filled a calabash with water. He crept through the tall grass, sora, 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 till he came to the nest of mburo, the hornets who sting like fire. There are a couple words in there that were a little tricky, right? Does anybody have an idea of what a frond might be? You can tell just by looking at the picture, right? Yeah, that's a big leaf, right? I know. And then that other word that was a little bit tricky, uh, calabash. Have you heard that before? Oh, you have. Yes. Oh, okay. Well, calabash is actually it's a gourd. It's kind of like a pumpkin. It's in the same family, and it gets dried up. And in many places, they use gourds for holding water and all different kinds of things. It's really, really something you can do many different things with. We had some in the classroom, I believe. Um, so, where were we? Oh, okay. So Anansi held the banana leaf over his head as an umbrella, and he poured some of the water in the calabash over his head. What a strange thing to do. I wonder what he's thinking. So, the rest of the water he emptied over the hornet's nest and cried out, "Hey, it is raining, it is raining, it is raining. Should you not fly into my calabash so that the rain will not tatter your beautiful wings?" Bzz, bzz, thank you, hummed the hornets. And they flew into the calabash, and then whoop! Anansi quickly stopped the mouth of the gourd. "Ha ha! Umburo, are you ready to meet the sky god?" said Anansi, and he hung the calabash full of the hornets onto the same tree that he had the leopard on. So Anansi now carved a little wooden doll holding a bowl. He covered the doll from top to bottom with sticky latex gum. Then he filled the doll's bowl with pounded yams. You know what yams are? Oh, yeah. They're kind of like sweet potatoes, right? They're in the same family. So, he set the doll at the foot of the flamboyant tree where fairies love to dance. Anansi tied one end of the vine around the doll's head, holding the other end in his hand. He hid behind a bush. Ooh. Do you see the doll? Yeah? Do you see Anansi hiding with the string? I wonder what he's up to. In a little while, Mtia, the fairy, who no one can see, came dancing, dancing, dancing to the foot of the flamboyant tree, and there she saw the doll holding the bowl of yams. So Mumtia said, "Come, baby, I'm hungry. May I eat some of your yams?" Anansi pulled the vine in his hiding place so that the doll seemed to nod its head. So the fairy took the bowl from the doll and ate all of the yams. "Thank you, Gum Baby," said the fairy, but the doll did not answer. "Don't you reply when I thank you?" cried the angered fairy. But the doll did not stir. Gum baby, I will slap your crying place unless you answer me, shouted the fairy. But the wooden doll remained still and silent, so the fairy slapped her crying place. I guess that must be her cheek, right? Pah! Her hand stuck to the gum baby's sticky cheek. Remember all that sticky stuff that got put on the doll? Let go of my hand, or I'll slap you again. Pow! She slapped the doll's crying place with her other hand. Now the fairy was stuck to Gum Baby with both hands, and she was furious. She pushed against the doll with her feet, and they also stuck fast. Now Anansi came out of hiding and said, Aha, Mtia, you are ready to meet the sky god. And he carried her to the tree where the leopard and the hornets were waiting. So Anansi spun a web around Osebo, Mburo, and Mtia, and then he spun the web to the sky. He pulled his captives behind him and set them down at the foot of the sky god. Oh, Naime, said Anansi, bowing low. Here is the price you ask for your stories. Osebo, the leopard of the terrible teeth. Umburo, the hornets who sting like fire. And Umdia, the fairy who people can never see. So, Naomi, the sky god, called together all of the nobles of his court and addressed them in a loud voice. Little Nancy, the Spider-Man, has paid me the price I asked for my stories. Sing his praise, I command you, and from this day going on forever, proclaimed the sky god, my stories belong to Anansi and shall be called Spider Stories. Yay, 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 shouted all the assembled nobles. So Anansi took the golden box of stories back to Earth, to the people of his village. And when he opened the box, all the stories scattered to all the corners of the world, including this one. So, this is my story, which I have related. If it be sweet or if it be not sweet, take some elsewhere and let some come back to me. The end. A story, a story. Thank you for listening.